All right, let's jump right into this. Welcome to today's explainer, where we're unpacking a seriously dramatic and just visually striking philosophical debate. Picture this. You look up, and you see a glowing celestial figure literally plummeting from the heavens, hurtling straight toward an earth hell. This is King Yayati. He's at the absolute edge of doom, right? And yet, instead of panicking on his way down, what does he do? He casually delivers a profound masterclass in philosophy.
I mean, this isn't your standard quiet fireside chat. There is a literal ticking clock here. Yayati is descending rapidly, and the earthly kings gathered below are just watching him fall. And it's this literal physical descent that really grounds the high-level spiritual debate they're about to have. You know, Yayati is facing ultimate ruin, which forces every single philosophical point he makes to carry the absolute weight of life, death, and eternal consequence.
So, you might be wondering, why exactly is a great king falling out of the sky in the first place? Well, it all boils down to religious merit. In this specific cosmological framework, merit is essentially a spiritual currency. You earn it through virtuous acts down on earth, and then you spend it to live up in the heavenly realms. Simple enough, right? But Yayati has completely exhausted his account. His balance hit zero, so gravity just took over. However, he did manage to secure one crucial boon from the god Indra right before his descent. He asked that when he inevitably falls, he should fall specifically amidst the wise and the virtuous, and that sets the perfect stage for the kings gathered below to start asking him questions.
Section 1, Knowledge versus Practice.
So as he's falling, King Ashtaka shouts up to Yayati with this fundamental question: who actually achieves salvation first? Is it the ascetic or the man of knowledge? Yayati answers that the man of knowledge actually wins the race because he instantly realizes the universe is illusory. He sees the Supreme Spirit immediately, and that means he can be completely surrounded by worldly enjoyments and yet remain totally unaffected by them in his heart. On the flip side, you have the ascetic or yogi. This path, it takes time. It relies on really intense, repetitive practice to literally train the consciousness to let go of its attachment to the world. So one sees through the illusion instantly, while the other really has to painstakingly sweat and work to escape it.
And honestly, that illustrates a very practical problem. What if the ascetic just runs out of time? Well, Yayati breaks down what is essentially this fascinating multi-lifetime safety net for the yoga practitioner. It's almost like a video game checkpoint. Step 1, you devote yourself to meditation. But hey, we're human, so step 2 often happens. You fall astray. The attractions of the world distract you, your life ends, and you haven't achieved salvation. Does that mean all your hard work is just gone? According to the source material, absolutely not. Step 3 shows that in your next life, you actually carry that spiritual progress forward. You're benefited by what you already achieved, and you wake up in the next life regretfully but intensely pursuing that success once again. Section 2, The Secret of True Action. Okay, so that covers knowledge and intense yoga. But what about the rest of us? Yayati actually has a massive warning for anyone seeking salvation through standard, pious actions. He makes this incredibly bold, counterintuitive claim from midair. He says, his sacrifices bear no fruit and partake of the nature of cruelty. Now stop and really think about that for a second. How on earth can a pious religious sacrifice be cruel or useless? Well, Yayati is unpacking human psychology here. He's explaining that if you devote yourself to piety solely because you want a reward, like if you're just trying to buy your way into heaven, it ruins the entire act. It becomes this selfish transaction. It's not genuine virtue, and therefore it bears absolutely zero spiritual fruit. The fix for this, though, is beautifully simple. True piety equals action without the desire for fruit. If you do the right thing simply because it is the right thing to do, and you expect absolutely zero reward for it, well, that action fundamentally transforms. Yayati says that for such men, this kind of truly selfless action actually becomes yoga itself.
Section 3, The Offer of Salvation.
All right, let's bring it back to the immediate, high-stakes drama. The ground is rushing up to meet him fast. Stunned by all this wisdom, the earthly kings below decide, no way, they cannot let him fall. Ashtaka steps up first, and just grasps the sheer scale of the spiritual lifeline he tries to throw Yayati here. Ashtaka offers his very own heavenly realms to the falling king. When he's asked how vast these realms are, Ashtaka says there are as many regions for him in heaven as there are cows, horses, and wild animals currently living on earth. That is an astronomical amount of spiritual currency, and Ashtaka wants to transfer it all right now with one single purpose: to stop Yayati's fall and end his sorrow.
And if that wasn't enough, King Pratardana steps forward with an even more incomprehensible offer. Pratardana tells Yayati he has numberless, sun-effulgent worlds waiting for him. We're talking worlds so vast that even if you dwelt in each one for just 7 days, you would literally never exhaust them. Pratardana begs him, saying, "These then I give unto thee. Take them soon. Let thy woes cease." Guys, they are offering him the ultimate golden parachutes.
Section 4. The ultimate test of character.
So, Yayati is moments from impact. He's been offered infinite bailouts. He can stop his descent right now. And what does he do? He completely refuses them. Flat out, no. His reasoning is this profound lesson in integrity. First off, he points out the strict ethics of his class. He says only a Brahma-knowing Brahmana can accept such gifts. He, as a king, is supposed to be a giver of gifts, never a taker. Second, he argues that it's fundamentally wrong for a king to desire the religious merit that another person earned through their own hard yoga austerities. You just can't take someone else's spiritual homework, you know? And finally, he drops the ultimate mic drop. He states that a wise king does not act meanly, even when afflicted by massive calamity.
And this brings us to the ultimate takeaway of this ancient debate. A king keeping his eye fixed on virtue should walk along the path of virtue, regardless of fate. Yayati is facing absolute ruin. He's lost his heavenly status, he's falling into the earth hell, yet his adherence to personal integrity and his cosmic duty is just vastly stronger than his fear. He completely refuses to compromise his values just to save his own skin. He's literally out there practicing what he preached earlier about acting without the desire for fruit. Which brings me to a final question I want to challenge you with today. If you were facing a massive downfall in your own life, maybe your career is collapsing, your finances are wiped out, your reputation is falling out of the sky, and someone offered you a golden parachute that you knew you didn't earn, or that completely violated your deepest principles, would you take that unearned bailout? Because Yayati, he chose to hit the ground with his integrity intact rather than sit in heaven on borrowed merit. Something really profound to chew on. Thanks so much for joining me for today's explainer, and I really hope it leaves you with a fresh perspective on the true nature of virtue.